Jack Elam had the kind of face you recognized instantly and never forgot. Born William Scott Elam on November 13, 1920, in Miami, Arizona, he grew into one of film and television's most reliable scene stealers. The misaligned eye he got from a childhood accident might have sidelined another actor. Elam turned it into a signature. On screen it read as Danger or Mischief, perfect for the rogues, drifters, and offbeat characters he made unforgettable. After serving in the United States Navy during World War II, Elam came home with a veteran's discipline and grit. He studied at the University of Southern California, then found his way onto sets, first in small parts, soon in roles that stuck. Over the next 5 decades, he racked up more than 200 film and TV credits. The Western fit him like a glove. With that weathered look and deadpan delivery, he became a natural antagonist in titles like The Night of the Grizzly, 1966, Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968, and Support Your Local Sheriff, 1969. He often played the bad guy, but rarely the same way twice. Elam could flash a wicked grin, then slip in a beat of unexpected humor or a hint of heart. That's why audiences remembered him long after the credits rolled. Even so, he refused to be boxed in. Elam moved easily among comedies, dramas, and family fare. On television, he showed up everywhere: Gunsmoke, Bonanza, The Lone Ranger, The Twilight Zone, and had a knack for walking into a scene and quietly running away with it. In 1974, he jumped into something new with the ABC sitcom The Texas Wheelers. As Zach Wheeler, a rough-around-the-edges father who reappears after his children lose their mother, Elam found the balance between gruffness and heart. The show lasted only 8 episodes, but it's notable for featuring a young Mark Hamill, just a few years shy of Star Wars, and Gary Busey. Critics singled Elam out for showing warmth beneath the whiskers. He wasn't just a Western heavy. He was a full-fledged character actor. He kept surprising people. In 1979, Elam donned bolts and stitches as Frankenstein's monster in the offbeat CBS comedy Struck by Lightning. The network aired 3 episodes in the U.S. before canceling it. Yet all 11 episodes eventually ran in the UK, where viewers got to enjoy one of the strangest and funniest chapters in his career. Into the 1990s, Elam was still mixing it up. He popped up on Home Improvement, Season 1, Episode 20, Birds of a Feather Flock to Taylor, sharing the frame with Tim Allen and fellow legend Ernest Borgnine. The timing and twinkle were still there. The old pro hadn't lost a step. On the big screen, he scored a comic bullseye in The Cannonball Run, 1981, playing Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing, a self-declared crazed proctologist. In director Hal Needham's cross-country romp, co-starring Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, and Farrah Fawcett, Elam's wild-eyed doctor became a fan favorite. He brought him back for Cannonball Run 2, 1984, doubling down on the lunacy and getting big laughs for it. Then came The Aurora Encounter, 1986, a weird Western that blended prairie dust with science fiction. Elam played Charlie Henkins, the town drunk, but the production left him with something more lasting than a credit. On set, he met Mickey Hayes, an 11-year-old with progeria, a rare condition that causes rapid aging. The two formed a deep bond, later chronicled in the 1987 documentary I Am Not a Freak. Elam said, "I've met a lot of people, but I've never met anybody that got next to me like Mickey." For a man famous for villains, it revealed the gentleness behind the growl. That same year, he co-starred with Lonnie Anderson in the sitcom Easy Street, playing Alvin Bully Stevenson, the down-on-his-luck uncle to Anderson's socialite. And in 1988, he saddled up with Willie Nelson for the TV Western, Where the Hell's That Gold? A comic treasure hunt full of double crosses that let Elam return to his Western roots while flexing his comedic muscles. In 1994, the industry tipped its hat. Elam was inducted into the Hall of Great Western Performers at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. It was the right honor for a man who had helped define the look, feel, and humor of the American Western on screen. Off camera, Elam was as memorable as any character he played, plain-spoken, sharp-witted, and never shy about his opinions. He respected hard work and despised pretense, and there was one towering Hollywood icon he bristled at more than anyone: Gary Cooper. To most of the world, Cooper was the model of the American hero, tall, laconic, dignified. To Elam, that image was more polished than performance. In his blunt phrasing, Gary Cooper never impressed me. He was always just there. Elam's gripe wasn't small. He believed character actors often carried the weight of a scene, while Cooper, with his soft-spoken style, drew raves for doing too little. "I saw a guy who got by on looking good in a cowboy hat," he said. What truly bothered Elam was what he viewed as Cooper's work habits, or lack thereof. Elam, the meticulous pro, showed up early, rehearsed, and worked the material until it sparked. Cooper, he claimed, coasted on star power. If you asked me who I thought was lazy, I'd say Gary Cooper without blinking. He didn't rehearse. He didn't push himself. He just wanted to get through it and collect the paycheck. He also disliked what he perceived as Cooper's aloofness. Many called Cooper a gentleman. Elam didn't see it that way. "Maybe if you were a studio head or a pretty actress," he said. "But if you were just some working character guy like me, he barely acknowledged you." For Elam, who treated everyone from co-stars to stagehands with the same easy respect, that was hard to forgive. And then there was the pedestal. Elam bristled at how critics and audiences lionized Cooper, even when Elam felt the performances were hollow. He went so far as to call Cooper's Oscar for High Noon undeserved, quipping, "You could have put a cigar store Indian in that role and gotten the same performance." To Elam, Cooper symbolized a system that rewarded looks and aura, while overlooking the sweat and craft of character players. Elam could be fair, too. He admitted that Cooper's image, the American hero, was exactly what people wanted to believe in. He wasn't the best actor, not by a long shot, Elam said. But he looked the part, and that was enough for the studios. For a man like Jack Elam, who clawed his way forward on grit and work ethic, that imbalance stuck in the craw. His private life had the steadiness that Hollywood often lacks. Elam married Jean Louise Hodgert in 1937, and they were together until her passing from cancer in 1961. 7 months later, in August of 1961, he married Margaret Jennison. That marriage lasted more than 4 decades, right up to his death from congestive heart failure on October 20th, 2003, in Ashland, Oregon. At age 82, Jack Elam leaves the memory of a man who turned what others saw as a flaw into a calling card, who could menace with a stare and then, just as easily, make you laugh with a look. On screen, he was danger, mischief, and sly humor rolled into one. Off screen, he was loyal, candid, and very much his own man. He may have disliked Gary Cooper more than anyone, but audiences loved Jack Elam, because in a town built on smoke and mirrors, he felt absolutely, unmistakably real.